that once you start using it and start working with it, you can actually hand the document off to your client or to your boss or whoever and show them the work that you're doing on the web. So we talk about promotions, the basics of SEO. We talk about bookmarking, talk about video sharing and why it's important, collaborative research. There's all kinds of different sections in this thing, content collaboration, social networking, all kinds of stuff. And the critical on that, let me go back here, is the tying it all together. So we talked about Twitter, how we use the VC Twitter account. People will go up on social networks and wonder, you know, this is what I do for a living, but I can't humanly get to 45 different networks. And so what you see in Facebook and MySpace and Bebo and a lot of these accounts that I'm active in is essentially a feed coming from something else. I only really interact on Facebook and on Twitter. But what I do is I have those things that I'm doing on those feed into all these other different networks, and then those monitors I have in my office is tracking keywords in those different networks. So if someone sees something on Bebo that I've said on Twitter, I can go into that environment and then answer their question and communicate with them. But don't think that, you know, this is stupid, I can't do this, who's got the time to do this. One section that I've got within the social media manifest is talking about how do you take RSS feeds and take the APIs, not a single line of code was written to make this stuff work. This is all stuff you can get on the internet. So there are tools out there that will allow you to take feeds from one place and feed them into another. And I'll talk about that on the social media manifest. And I'll make that available to you guys. I'm not in the agency world anymore, so I could care less who gets this thing. And that's pretty much it. There was an awful lot to cover. But I have no idea if I went 5 hours or how long I talked. So with that, really? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was fast. Okay. So with all that, then part of what I like to do is kind of talk about, it's one thing for me to sit here and talk at you and talk about my experiences, and whenever you kind of go to a talk like that, that's, you know, you walk away with, well, that's great for you, how does it help me? So anybody who's got questions about a very specific situation, about a website, about whatever, let's have them so we can talk about what I can do for you. Okay.
It's a collection of columns I write for a local magazine about relationships. I have a website at trueintimacies.com.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what I can do to get it out more in the social media. I figured what I need to do, and I have not yet gotten to, is go out and find all the relationships blogs and write replies and comments with a link in my signature. But that's about as far as I've...
yeah, you do want to do that. You don't want to overdo the signature. I'm always working with how much is too much to put into a signature. I can overdo it very easily. You know, at the end of the day, though, you want to tell them something about your online life. With what you got in the book, though, I mean, my first inclination is to say that you probably, since you've already got that content, you don't want to give away the book, obviously, but if you could go in
books and people can read 20% of it.
Well, my thought is that if you've got content that's in the book that people are going to want to buy, put some of it out there so they can see it. And so
a sample chapter of the table of contents.
I would see if you could convert some of that into a blog. Because here's what you want to do. You want to do something. You want to do something that's going to put that content on the top of search results for people looking for social media. One of the key things you have to think about is when you think about Yahoo, Google, Cool Now, you know, MSN, those guys, they search for stuff based on relevance, and a lot of it's based on citations or links back to your content. So that's not necessarily based upon the timeliness of information. When people are looking for stuff through things like Twitter, through Technorati to look through blog searches, Google blog search, that is almost entirely based upon the timestamp on the content. So if you were to put that stuff out into a blog and have it published once a day or a couple of times a week, what that does is whenever people are looking for that type of content, that guarantees that a couple of times a week you're going to be at the top of the search results, which is going to drive more traffic to you.
When you say put the content on a blog, I have a blog in which I will a couple of times a week make some comments about relationships or anything I found on the web that's related to my book. Are you saying to put actual content from my book on the blog? As
long as the content you're writing is directly related to what's in the book, then I think you're fine. Now, I don't know if you've done any work or how much work you've done to go out and figure out what people are searching for, the specific keywords that are based upon the content. Go to Google. And they've got, if you go and sign up for a pay-per-click account, you don't have to pay for anything. But if you go and sign up for an AdWords account, go up there and use their keyword search tool. And by using that word and putting the words inside the tool that you think people will be looking for, what Google does, it goes and does a search within its log files and comes back and says, well, yeah, that's pretty good, but hey, there's 15 other things that people search on more often. And so you've got to put yourself in the mindset of, this is my stuff and this is the way I think about it, but that's not the way everyone else thinks about it. So I think the biggest thing you want to do is use a tool like that, on the Google keyword tool, and write content on your blog that uses those phrases that other people are using most often inside that content, and put it inside put those words inside the titles of those blog posts, and put the keywords that you find on Google, put those keywords inside the titles of the individual blog posts.
My keywords are love, sex, and romance, which are going to be very...
Oh, you're set. You having problems with selling that?
Yeah.
Take out the love and the romance and see how you do. Yeah, sad to say, if you went the sex route, you could get men to bite, and if you went the love and the romance route, then go and hit up the mommy blogs. And now, I mean, if you're going and you're talking to people that have relationship blogs, and you have a link inside your signature that points back, more than half the time it's not going to do you any good as far as the search engines go. But if you're putting it in front of people and these blogs are heavily trafficked, at least you're getting eyeballs on it, and they may go that way and click on the link. So don't do it just in order to get link juice from the search engines. Do it because it's kind of a word-of-mouth marketing for you on the web.
Thank you.
Yes, Michelle?
Okay, so interesting challenge is that one of my clients is son in ski sports. So to me, promoting technology on Twitter is easy because it's like on their computers anyway, right? Like I'm using Busy when I'm at my computer, I'm not like going down a mountain unless I'm not very smart. But what do you see like is the future? How do you see social media fitting into companies that aren't tech oriented? Because
Extreme sports like that are going to have more pickup in video and a little bit less in blogging. So there's plenty of extreme sports types of blogs out there. You can find a lot of professional athletes have their own blogs that you can go up and comment on.
we're working on it. Right now for Twitter, it's like
It's not appropriate for you, I don't think.
No, I found a girl. I was like, hey, we're planning a ski trip. She's out of New York. She's got like, here's the thing, like if you get one, they have networks of people who are not on Twitter. She knows like 12 snowboarders, so I'm like,
I think that you're going to find lower hanging fruit though. So like if you're looking at high school students going on a ski trip vacation, then hit up Facebook or hit up Bebo. So and that's kind of that's part of the, you know, you have to take a hard look at what you're trying to market on the web, because yeah, Twitter's everywhere and everybody's got to be on Twitter, but if it's not going to bring you the results, then you're spinning your wheels. And sorry, but MySpace, you know, is still the number 1, number 2 social network out there, and it's so uncool, but there's a lot of people using it. So, you know, I would, if I was you, for trying to sell skis and things like that.
I've been hitting Mega for years.
Yeah, and so I think that's going the right direction. And look for you know, and when you're commenting on blogs, I take a softer approach. I wouldn't get up there and say, hey, come and look at our stuff. I would comment on the content of the blog post and simply have the URL back to your client inside your signature and just leave that at that. Because that's a big point. I mean, and that's hard for a lot of people to do when you know, people want to get out there and start being a carnival barker and pushing their stuff online. And that's going to get you the exact opposite of what you're going to get. It's going to create bad vibes in the community because you're out there spamming people. Go out there and add value, contribute to the conversation, and then if you're adding value and you become a member that people look up to and respect, they're naturally going to look at what you do. I don't do anything in the world. I go out and I help people, but there's nothing about me that adds value to anybody other than if you need help and I know, I'll answer it for you. You know, and I think that it's definitely a soft approach, and that's why if you can establish an identity that people already respect you, and then you come across those happy accidents when you stumble across a journalist or somebody like that, what happens is it starts snowballing on you, because the second you get written up and wired, then